Welcome, everyone, to the Tethys Shipyards. I am Takeshi Yamato, the Art Master, joining our host, the Housecoat Gamer.
Yo.
Today is our next faction primer, the Hydran Star Kingdom.
We have engaged hostile forces at this location.
During the late 22nd century, the Hydrans, a species with 3 legs, 3 eyes, and they breathe methane, were conquered by both the Hyrans and the Klingons. After this, the kingdom was effectively exiled as most Hydrans left their worlds. But they'd come back. They secured an alliance with a race called the Sicurians to get their hands on a force multiplier, which you see flitting about all over the place.
Yes, the Hydrans are probably our friend 117 George's favorite faction in this game, because, well, fighters.
Yeah, he's a fighter nut. However, me and Take are well aware of the whole situation with fighters in Trek. They suddenly become world beaters, then they become obsolete. Then there's technological evolution that repeats the cycle. And doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as Star Wars in a way.
Does Her Majesty have need?
Indeed.
Regardless, the Hydrans took the Sicurian designs and improved upon them, utilizing their unique weapon systems. The Gatling phaser,
have need of me?
the fusion cannon,
Shoulder!
And the Hellbore.
The Hellbore is a shield-killing gun. The fusion cannon's a short-range weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah. A fusion cannon is, well, if you've played StarCraft, it's the battlecruiser's Yamato cannon.
Basically.
Yeah.
Except it's a really short-range weapon.
Yeah, it's a short-range weapon that is well, Ron does not like the trope term, but it shows up so many times, and the SBY weapon was the progenitor of the trope, and so the trope is named after its gun, the wave motion gun.
Even though the Hellbore and the fusion cannon can be mounted both fore and rear with wider firing arcs.
Yeah.
Regardless, during the Century of Exile, the Hydrans decided to steal a few things. Not listed here are ships used by, well, captured by the Hydrans, including a certain legendary starship.
Right, they have their own
D7.
D7.
Designated as D7H, which strips out a few of the weapon systems for hangar bays.
Yeah. We're going to need to do a D7 video one of these days, just talking about all the different variants.
Indeed. And that's probably going to be an SFC2 vid. Regardless, the D7 and her ancestors greatly influenced Hydran's starship design. As you will have noticed, a lot of these ships look an awful lot like the D7.
Yeah.
Though it's most obvious with the Baron class.
Indeed.
The Hydrans use a unique form of phaser called the Gatling phaser.
Yeah.
Our starship has entered
Basically, it just fired Instead of just a consistent beam over a period of time, it fires multiple beams
A nebula is destroying our starship.
in a repeating cycle.
Similar to
Our starship has entered a dangerous
A Gatling
nebula.
gun.
oh boy, that plasma torpedo is gonna hit somebody in the face, or it's gonna completely whiff.
We have engaged hostile forces
Anyway,
at this
the Hydrans
location.
managed to retake the kingdom with a little bit of intelligence
Our
and logistical
starship
support
has
from the
entered a
Federation,
dangerous nebula. A nebula is destroying our
which allowed
starship.
a little bit of technology exchange, especially the Phaser
Our
G.
starship has entered a dangerous nebula. A
Yeah.
nebula is
Some
destroying
Federation
our
starships even
starship.
know the Phaser G.
Our starship has entered
Yep.
a dangerous nebula.
Of course,
A
the
nebula
Hydrans
is
didn't exactly get a
destroying
chance
our
to fully
starship. Our
rebuild
starship has entered
when
a
the Arganian
dangerous
War
nebula.
started. Then the General War, or the War of Pacification, whatever the hell you want to call it, it only made matters worse.
Yep.
By the 24th century, the Hydrans had ceased to be
colony is
even a
under
great or
siege.
even regional power. Their current status is rather
We have
unknown.
engaged hostile
However, what
forces
is
at
not
this
unknown
location.
is that most of their starships are now in the hands of the Federation. In a roundabout way.
Yeah. Technically, their starships belong to the Cations, and who are members of the Federation.
Your orders?
Our colony is
And
under
where do we get
siege.
this particular comment from?
Well, the design of some of the Cation starships in Star Trek Online.
Now, let's compare the Monarch to the Atrox-class carrier. You're seeing it, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
That's kind of why in my wishlist vid I
Our
went,
colony is under siege.
make this a Dreadnought cruiser, Dreadnought carrier, and give
We
it the
have
ability to
engaged
mount the
hostile
Atrox
forces at
skin.
this location.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yes. Regardless, now we must get to stats for the, well, common stats for the ships. So we need to figure out which two systems the Hydrans favor the most over the other overall, and common weapons loadouts. We have special rules for them already.
As you might guess, every single one of these ships is a carrier in some fashion.
Yeah. So they will need communications to be able to coordinate all of their fighters.
They'll also need engineering because
Yeah.
fighter maintenance.
Yeah, that's a department, but not a system. I would say structure.
Well, either or.
Yeah. Yeah, structure to in order to be able to have the mass to hold all of these ships. So, let's see. I'm setting up a document for this stuff. So, Hydran starships require communications
Bloody thing looks like a ghost.
and structure in order to
I mean, seriously, this thing looks like a Halo. A Covenant ship.
yeah
And they
and
all do.
to accommodate and coordinate all the small craft that they carry. And for common weapons loadouts, they Hydran starships all use phasers.
Some ships, however, do not mount either fusion cannons or hellbores.
Right.
For example, the Yeoman-class frigate does not have the space for fusion cannons, but she has hellbores. And her fighter complement can easily be adjusted to mount the Fusilier fusion cannon-equipped fighters.
Yeah.
Sire, your command?
And for special rules, do any of their ships use photon torpedoes?
Nope. They are all special weapon. They're all energy-based.
Okay. So, we move on to the common special rules. This is our second attempt for this video, so we already have these. Gatling phasers is the first one, and this is this one they all have. The ship's phaser banks can fire at a much higher rate than other ships of the time. As a minor action, the phaser banks can be set to Gatling mode and double their stress rating. Fusion cannon. The fusion cannon counts as an energy weapon with the following stats. Close range, stress rating of scale plus security plus 3, the same damage as a lance weapon. Piercing 1 stress effect, devastating and high yield weapon quality. Lastly is the Hellbore. The Hellbore is an energy weapon with the following stats. Stress rating of scale plus security plus 1, range of long, stress effects of depleting and piercing 1. Because, well, depleting is partly because of their effect in the game. In Starfleet Command and Starfleet Command 2, the Hellbore damages multiple shield facings at once.
It damages every shield facing at once, but it hones in on the weakest shield facing and goes, "Hello, you're weak. I'm gonna rip you open."
Yeah. Meanwhile, Star Trek Adventures doesn't really have shield facing. Shields are basically the closest thing starships have to standard hit points for weapon damage. So, in this case, depleting is just a case of, "Hi, you're losing even more shields now." So that's the closest thing we could come up with for the effects of the Hellbore. Now, we have vids queued up for each Hydran starship design. Their original designs, not captured Klingon models or anything like that. We don't have anything for their small crafts. Mainly because we wouldn't be able to... mainly because doing so is going to be very hard to do unless we can find a standalone model.
Which will not be easy unless I ask Squire James, the one responsible for this whole mod, to put it up on Sketchfab.
Yeah. If you're watching this, Mr.
Just call him Squire.
Yeah. If you're watching this, Squire, this is a formal request to put those models up. Any small craft model that you have come up with, please put it up. Utopia Planitia has rules for small craft, and I would love to cover every small craft in the Starfleet Command series.
Something I'm somewhat dreading. Because I hate shuttles.
Right. So, yeah, that is the Hydran Star Kingdom. Ron will type up a lore for the faction. We'll type up the faction lore into the document before we get it posted.
Shouldn't take all that long.
Yep.
And now we move on to the least favorite faction I have.
Yep.
God, I hate the Interstellar Concordium.